welcome into some Columbia City baseball via the WJHS studios here at Columbia City High School. I'm Jared Ambrose along with my co-host, longtime friend, coaching mentor, Mr. Rob Bell. Rob, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Jared, how are you? It's good to be here.
It is. It's a Chamber of Commerce afternoon here at Columbia City Athletic Complex. We got a couple ball games going on here as Lucas Schmidt delivers a strike for the first pitch. As you're tuning in here, you got your Columbia City Eagles versus conference opponent Bellmont Braves, and across the ballpark, got the Lady Eagles against the Lady Spartans of Homestead High School.
Bit of swing and a miss on that one. Two good pitches from Lucas so far.
Up to bat for Bellmont is senior Will Baker.
Strike.
And there's the first out for the ball game. Lucas Schmidt goes 3 pitches for 3 strikes.
You can't ask for a much better start than that, can you?
You can't
3
ask.
pitches, strike out. There we go.
He's definitely on pace for the immaculate inning. Don't want to jinx that. And stepping in for Bellmont Braves as Schmidt delivers here. Foul tip for Lane Lemaster, junior here. Swinging from the right side. Gets his signs from his third base coach down there. Eagles coming off a awesome victory we'll talk about here at the half inning mark. As Baker chops that one foul and Schmidt's back ahead 0-2.
As a coaching staff, this is always what you want. You want to get off start, right? Just get out there, throw strikes, get ahead early, make the batters work to you so you can control the game. And so Lucas has done a nice job of that so far.
Lucas stays ahead in the count there, misses high and away for ball 1. He kicks and deals. Check swing. They appealed it down to first, and he got him. And so Schmidt gets 2 frontward Ks to start the afternoon here.
Now batting number 6, Bo Baker.
Stepping into the box is the cleanup hitter, number 6, Bo Baker, Jr. He's got 1 batting glove, open stance. Neller receives that one for a strike, and Schmidt 3 straight batters, 3 straight first pitch strikes to start the afternoon. Excuse me, that's Logan Fry behind the dish. And there's a nice shot between Deckman and Wilkinson at short and third. And so the Bellmont Braves have their first batter on the bases, first runner on the bases.
Now batting number 23.
That's going to bring in senior Cam Freed. And that means Schmidt's going to have to work from the stretch here in the first inning. See if he uses his pickoff move here.
Lucas has always had a really good pickoff move. He's got that, just like that long, his length helps him with that, but he does a good job of keeping his head turned, and he drops that foot just about at that. He's right on the touch of that 45-degree line.
Yeah, he is.
He flirts with it just like he should. So
Yep.
He does a nice job with that, and gets a lot of people every year. So.
All right, it's not comparing him to Andy Pett's pickoff move, but it is that kind of that similar deceptiveness, right, of keeping that foot, towing that line of the 45-degree angle.
Yeah, and it is. I think good job on that one. I think Andy Pettit is a great example of he's kind of got that. It's kind of got that stance a little bit. I haven't talked to Lucas about it, but I wonder growing up if he kind of watched a little bit of Pettit play. So. this. I mean, either way, but you can keep it down on his hands. He's done a good job so far of keeping that ball down. So keep it in on his hands and keep it down. Try to get him to roll over something.
And Schmidt goes away with that pitch to even it up at 1-1.
The way the Eagles are shifted, Bradbury's playing a lot up the middle. So that's why I think you want to keep it to the inside here, just because you're going to hit into where you got fewer holes or smaller holes.
Ooh, check swing, almost got him to go for it as Lee works the count in his favor at 2-1. We got 2 outs here. Yeah, outfield's pretty much straight up. Wind is blowing to the south, so it's blowing towards right field. At least it was earlier today.
Lucas got to slow down a little bit. He just looks like he's rushing that. Now that he's gone into the stretch, he just seems to be rushing it towards the plate. Doesn't seem to be quite as smooth and just methodical. Just settle in, get used to it. But that's what, as an offensive team, that's why you do it. You got to get people on base, and then this is exactly what you do. You start to challenge them and put that pressure on. Lucas does a nice job there, comes back and gets that strike. So
the 4 and 5 hitters for Bellmont doing a good job at kind of being patient and not chasing a bunch of pitches. As the first 2 batters went down swinging on 7 pitches as Schmidt steps off there. Gets a chance to reset with full count, 2 outs. We don't know about the speed there at second base, so if you put something in the outfield, there might be a play at the plate. He fouls that one off to the right side.
And as would be expected, both runners took off on the pitch. So
that's a great point.
Again, that's going to be another reason to really keep that thing down, just especially with that wind blowing as strong as it is today. You never want to get that thing up there and let the wind start to mess around with it. So.
Yeah, you're not going to have as much time as an infielder to, especially between short and second, to toss that to second with the runners going here. And he's going to load the bases up. And that's going to bring senior Aiden Zimmerman, Oliver Whirling Jr. All right-handed batters so far. Looks like
Coach Huffman heading out to the mound, talk to Lucas, settle him in here.
Yeah, we talked about it. You mentioned it. First 2 batters, that's exactly what you wanted here. And Bellmont did a great job at kind of flipping the script here.
Yeah, again, Lucas came out, did exactly what you want, and then just got that first hit. He even on the first pitch to that guy that got the hit, the 3rd batter, Lucas did a great job putting it in there. And then the next pitch just got a little bit more of the plate than probably wanted to, and the guy was able to turn on it. So, he'll settle in again early on, still adjusting. First conference game too, right? This is big. I think you gotta be aware of what this game means. This is as you set your goals out in front of you. Conference is always the first thing that you want to make sure you pick off, and so there's some excitement with that, and then always being at home in front of your fans is another good thing to get the blood pressure going a little bit.
Yeah, hey, you bring up this is the first conference game. You definitely want to start off 1-0, especially at home, as Schmidt delivers and falls behind here. 1-0.
Back in the windup now with the bases loaded, so that'll be hopefully they settling back in here. There you go.
Oh, and we got umpire was pointing. I'm not sure what he was pointing for there.
He called for the appeal out there to.
Okay. And we go 2-0 here. You don't have a whole lot of speed at second, so something there's a shot to the gap. That's probably
come back to
shot.
Moon. The wind was bringing
track it down.
Ground rule.
Puts his hand up. Ground rule double. Yeah. So it's gonna score the runners from first and second. Umpire's gonna bring back the runner from first.
Well, I thought that that thing took off.
It did.
Again, a right-handed batter hitting it out there towards right center. It's going to naturally tail towards right field anyway. And then the wind was helping. First I thought it was in the gap, no doubt. And then I thought maybe it was going to get back over there to Moon. He was tracking it pretty good, but just got outside of his reach.
And Bellmont coach did a good job of keeping it in front of him there.
He's a lot braver than I used to be down there, that's for sure. I'd have Olayed that thing faster than anything on that one. That thing was shot.
He did not pull the old lay move there. He stayed there. All right, so Schmidt's back up 0-2 here. Delivers outside for ball 1. This is a good test here for the Eagles, right? I think, you know, you have a big win last night. Now you gotta have to come back here early. As Schmidt throws an off speed, and there's going to be a play at the plate potentially. Nope. That's a tough one.
Yeah, kept that pitch outside. Logan's got to make sure he steps out and gets that one. I know, you know, you're trying to reach, you're trying to pull that strike in, but you know, you gotta understand the situation with the runners at third. He's got to get out there and make sure that one doesn't get to the backstop.
Fry's got the one knee down
There you
stance, and then he punches him out for the third out of the inning. But the Braves do strike, all with 2 outs. Started off with the hot shot between third and short, and then there's 2 walks, and then the gapper into right center as a ground rule double scores 2, and then a pass ball gets the third run across there. So one unearned run there for Lucas Schmidt on the mound. Excuse me, two unearned.
Well, both walks were right. Both walks scored, so I guess it's not unearned, but.
Yeah. So not the start you're looking for.
No.
And we talked about in last night, Eagles had a great win against Homestead.
Well, Coach, I think you make a great point there, right? That, you know, it's first time in a long time. You know, Homestead has kind of been our nemesis, and you know, last year they got real close to beating them in the regular season. I think they lost 1-0 in the regular season, and then of course in the sectionals game they had them, and it kind of looked like you were going to get the win, and then it went into extra innings, and so. Yeah, I think you look at it from a growth standpoint, from the program and from the team, right? Guys, we always talk on you, and I've talked about this a lot. It's that learning how to win, and so they learned, they've overcome. You kind of see them getting better each time, and they overcame last night. But I think your point of now you got to be able to come back today, and this is a big one to come, you know, back right after that game into conference. And so got to get redialed in and refocused, and you got to make sure that you get this one, because that win last night means nothing if you let this first conference game at home slip away from you. So.
Right. And again, this is one of those where, again, this Eagles team's talented. Not taking anything away from Bellmont Braves here as a throwdown. Nice throwdown there from the catcher. But, you know, you lose this theoretically, right? Like, right, you win last night, but you lose this one. This could be, potentially, one game is what could cost you a conference championship.
Yeah.
And you'd much rather, I feel like we know Coach Daly enough, I know you enough, that you'd much rather have a conference championship banner and picture than, no picture, but yet we say we got to be X, no matter what team it was, right? Like, that means so much more. And so we'll see the Eagles here. You just got to take it one run at a time here, one swing, one base runner at a time. You're not going to get it all back here with the leadoff hitter. The lefty, Carter Wilkinson, steps in. He's got that elbow protector on his right elbow. He's got 2 white gloves on as he throws some spit into the palms to get some good grip with his Louisville Slugger bat here as he gets ahead 1-0. You know, Carter's my intern at first period. You know, saw him this morning, said, hey, I said, you know, how you doing? Said, I'm doing real good. I'm like, yeah, that was a good win last night. Yeah, it was a great win. And so, you know, all that stuff, now you got to move on to the next game here.
Yeah.
But again, they were all excited, rightfully so. But now we got to buckle in and look at, you know, we're 0-0 here. Move on to the next one and start conference off with the right step here as Wilkinson jumps ahead 3-0.
This Bellmont pitcher, these pitches so far, he's got some good movement on his ball. Looks like a little, I don't know if it's a little cut fastball or a little two-seam here, but it's got a little run to it.
Tries to drop the bunt down. And we had the count wrong there. It's 2-2 now with that foul bunt, 2-2.
interesting to see what they do here with Carter. Carter's got so much speed, leads the team in stolen bases on the season. So
Yeah, a swing and a miss as Wilkinson took a couple steps. And I'm sure Coach Daly there was timing up the catcher in between innings there to kind of get a feel for, all right, what's the throwdown look like? We're gonna have it. How early do we want to test the arm of the catcher? As Deckman lays off one in the dirt, and Wilkinson did a great job at reading that one in the dirt. And we kind of talked about that. You talked about that for, again, all our first years, all the first 5 years there of, look, you can't wait for the ball to get in the dirt. You got to read. Great base runners can read the ball. Oh, it's going in the dirt. I'm going to take off.
Yeah.
And they're able to get that.
Yep, Carter did that well, right? It was, as that ball was down, as he saw it heading down, he was already moving. He could see that it was going to be a tough one. And that just puts that pressure on that catcher, right? Even if he doesn't hit the dirt, if it catches it low, now the catcher, he's panicking. He knows he's got to come up. He's got to get it quick. And now you just put that pressure on. And that's the thing you're trying to do out there with the base runners, is try to put that pressure on and just give yourself a chance, like we talked about in the first inning with Lucas.
Deckman gets the count even at 1-1 here. Deckman lays off one that's above the letters. Counts at 2-1 here.
Nice to see Trey get going here. I think he's been hitting the ball hard all season, just seems to be hitting it right at people. So nice to see him get some through and kind of get rolling here, especially in conference games. This is where we want to start picking up and get rolling here for the season. So.
Right, yeah. So he fouls one there into the parking lot. You look at his average. His average is at 235. But you said again, it doesn't. What we don't have is the hard batted ball percentage, right? We don't have.
Actually, I think
do you have the batted ball percent? Does that give that? Coach Warner give that to us?
Oh my gosh, Coach Warner has so many stinking stats on here. I had to go to college back to learn how to read them all. So.
Deckman here's at 2-2. And he puts one on the ground in between.
There you go.
And Coach Daly's going to hold him wisely. And now we got first and third here. This is Coach Daly's specialty. He loves first and third situations. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve between, fake bunt steal, fake squeeze steal, the delayed steal, whole bunch of variations of what Coach Daly trains his Eagle squad to do here in first and third situations offensively. As Henry Neller, the senior catcher, steps in.
Well, Deckman's got he's got both feet past the cut, so he's got a huge lead.
As Neller lays off one that's just a bit outside. Coach Daly gives his sign to his runners. And the pickoff move to first. Yet the second and short, playing about double play depth. Center fielder is shaded a little bit to left center. There's a shot to third. They could turn two. Wilkinson stays. He takes off for home, and they turn two. They turn two there. That's not something you often see in high school baseball. It's got to be done to perfection, and the Braves, they ran that to perfection. Kind of a one-hopper there to third.
Now batting number 2, Maddox Moon.
You get the run across there. Takes a little bit of the wind out of your sails as the bases are cleared up now. As we got Maddox Moon here, number 4 hitter. Junior playing right field tonight. Moon loads and takes a swing and fouls it to the Eagles' dugout side. Kicks and deals. Ooh, just a little high.
the high one away. It seems to be giving a little more of those low ones to him so far. So, and like you said, that's important. Pitching coaches, pitchers, all the other players, make sure you see that. You know, let your pitcher know that's where we want to keep that thing. If we're going to miss down there, we got to get a chance to get one.
Ooh, inside is.
Half the Bellmont defense thought that was strike three. They were heading off the field, weren't they?
Yes, they did. You can bet that. You can bet that zone probably is going to shrink just a little bit on here. As umpires usually don't like that here. Moon's done a good job at working this count as he calls for time. Moons, you can tell he's choked up on the bat here with the 2-strike approach. Infield is playing straight up for the most part. Full count pitch is fouled off.
Moon did a good job there cutting his swing down, just trying to make that contact. I can't tell. He looks like he's, you know, again, when you want to get 2-strike stance, he's hugged up against the front side of that box against the plate, widened his stance, like you said, choked up. So he's got the 2-strike approach here. Now he's just got to stay alive.
Ooh, off-speed pitch, and they did again. The Bellmont Braves started to walk off. You can kind of hear some fans saying, come on, but
Look, Bellmont fans were real happy with that one.
Yeah. And hey, we'll never know this, but you know, if you don't walk off the mound a couple pitches ago, you know, do you get that? You don't know.
Point.
You don't know. Yeah. Maybe you do, maybe you don't.
Right.
But this is kind of one of those things there, like you got to learn that's never going to go in your favor. Even if he does call it a strike 3, you know, some of them do take notice of that, and there's another one that goes for a ball as senior Butler commit Grayson Bradbury steps in here. We'll see how aggressive Coach Daly wants to be with 2 outs. There's a shot to third. Third baseman stays with it, and a nice arm goes all the way across the diamond there.
Yeah, did a good job getting over there with his backhand, taking one, just planted his foot as he fielded it and turned and make that good throw across. So,
as we go into the top of the second, Eagles get one across on a double play from Henry Neller. Score is 3-1 as we go into the top of the second.
Yeah, it's kind of Trey had that huge lead. They're both, you know, 3 straight pitches. I thought maybe they'd give him a shot to try to steal. I mean, Trey's got really good speed, and Coach Daly on the team so far this season. I mean, we got 46 stolen bases already.
Yeah.
You know, pretty aggressive approach. You know, there's seasons where you don't have, you know, 80, 90 stolen bases as used to be some of the high records in our books. So, you know, again, and been down there. I'm sure Coach Daly, right? When it doesn't go, you hit that double play ball, and you're like, should have gone it and done it. And
yep.
But again, just getting back in the groove. It's good to get one back. You know, we always talked about winning the inning.
Yep.
But if you don't win the inning, you got to make sure that you get one back at least and keep digging. So if you hold them down here and you win every other inning, then you'll come out of this game just fine. So
yeah, we're gonna find out how you know, some mental toughness here from Schmidt. How's he gonna handle coming into the second inning? He's gonna be almost to the close to the I don't have the lineup card in front of me, but he's gonna be close to the top of the order here, as Fry has a nice throw down to second. The Eagles have 2 conference games this week, counting this one. They have, obviously, Bellmont. Bellmont is tonight. They get Huntington North on Thursday. They get tomorrow off. Northfield doubleheader on Saturday. And then they pick up with the Calb on Tuesday and New Haven on Thursday. So they got 2 conference games next week here. Schmitz delivers a swinging strike to start the top of the second.
you know, that is the thing with the adjustment, the change of the schedule here. Whew. Again, adding Homestead into that Monday slot last night. I always liked area. And then, of course, Homestead's always a perennial powerhouse. So.
And Schmidt started off ahead. Count's now worked back by George Gardner to full count here to start the first batter. Schmidt delivers. Missed high. You see Schmidt's visibly frustrated there.
Now batting number 1, Mason Martinez.
Could take a deep breath and loosen his shoulders up and just relax out there. He looks like he's just a little tight on the mound today.
Schmidt was the home opener pitcher earlier this season as Mason Martinez shows bunt that goes foul. We'll see if he tries to do that again on the next strike.
Hey, look at that. He wasn't going to see the point, not read the rights.
Center fielder playing just shading to left center is off-speed pitch, and the throw down. Not going to get him. Ball was kind of in the dirt there. Swing
Looked
and
like
miss.
Fry might have had a little bit of trouble. Like I said, whether it hit the dirt or whether he just had problems picking it up out of his mitt, but he came up a little late coming out of the stance. Gave that guy a good chance to get some steps on him before he had a chance to throw.
So Braves have a runner in scoring position. Schmidt's ahead 0-2. Pops one. It's going to go out of play as Martinez stays alive here.
I think it hit a gray terrain out there is what I just heard somebody
Is
say.
that what you heard, huh? It's a good thing nobody in this press box owns a great terrain.
Oh, is that what it is?
That'd be a shame.
Yeah. No.
Martinez stays alive there. Eagles got, they got a couple people down there in the bullpen. I don't think anybody's warming up quite yet.
They're down there ready to go.
They are ready to go.
Probably got their bullpen catcher out there, and then first guy they're planning on putting in.
And another foul tip there. Martinez is making Schmidt work here. This is a great at-bat here by the bottom of your order. Just it's kind of really what you want here with your bottom of your order. Give us some good, tough at-bats here.
Yeah, Lucas has got to make him hit his pitch now. These last two have been a little too close to the strike zone here with an 0-2 count. There you go. Got him to chase one outside there. Got the foul tip.
See if he works him coming back inside here. Count still at 0-2. Runner at second, nobody out. Schmidt gives a look back to second. Delivers. And got him. That low strike that you were talking about earlier.
Well,
He gets the first out of the inning.
Good pitch sequencing on that one, right? Like you said, he
Batting number 10,
kind of wind him out on that last pitch a little bit high, and then this one came. It's probably a little bit more in the middle where he wanted it, but it was low. I think he would like to break that inside a little bit more. So
You can kind of see the left fielder. I think that's Ian.
that's Mattia.
Mattia.
Yeah.
Checking the grass and communicating to his teammates as a shot down to third. Wilkinson looks him back at second. Strong. Ooh.
Oh.
And so, yeah, we're going to have some conversation between the umpires as the infield umpire said that Bucher didn't pull his foot until after he caught it.
Yeah, the throw from Wilkinson came wide to the.
Oh, and we got an overrule here.
That's right. Right. We should probably be neutral up here, but
Yep.
I mean, that was the right call. That throw took Bucher to the first base side of the bag, and he tried to shift. He did a good job of shifting his feet, tried to get his right one back to the bag. He just had to reach out there. Then did a good job making sure he got the ball.
He did, because
So.
if you try to keep your foot on the bag and you miss it, well, now that runner from second is probably going to score, if not get to third, and the runner from first is going to get to second. But yeah, it was a great play by Wilkinson, because if he doesn't get that, that's another run for Braves and
Right.
possibly a guy at second. So nothing's really hurt there. You still got one out. You get a ball up the middle. You get a ball to Deckman or Bradbury here, and this is an easy double play, textbook for them. Bucher's shaded in here in case they try to bunt over the two runners.
pitches so they don't. Maybe you do throw one right down the pipe at him, just gas him, but.
Kreischer back
Or that's
inside.
a good one, too. Fry does a nice job of blocking that one back behind the plate. Slid his feet out, did that, got the body in front, dropped his shoulders. That's exactly the way you would teach that.
It's a windy day here in Columbia City. High 70s, low 80s, beautiful weather. The wind's blowing out to right field as LeMaster lays off high. And the ump hasn't been given that all day, so I think that's a good layoff there from LeMaster.
And it's a good pitch by Lucas.
Yeah, absolutely. You get him a chance to set him up here. You're 2-2 as he throws one low and outside. And LeMaster's worked the count back full here. He was down 0-2. And we've seen that a lot from Bellmont so far this afternoon. They get down, and more recently they've been able to work the count back in their favor. Schmidt delivers, and a swing and a miss. Good comeback pitch. And now you got 2 outs. You can just go throw it across the diamond to first base to Bucher.
Now batting number 6, Bo Baker.
Take the short route if you want. As Bo Baker steps in with a chance for an RBI with 2 outs. This is where they were last inning. Runners in scoring position with 2 outs. Baker's got the open stance as he takes a swing and a miss on an outside pitch.
Schmidt's doing a pretty good job. He looks like each one of these so far, the last 2 innings, he's started that first pitch on the outside corner of these right-handed batters.
Baker fights off a tough inside pitch there.
And Lucas is doing a good job. Yeah, so almost all these batters were getting to 0-2, and now, now again, play with him a little bit, but getting to the 3 balls, we just got to tighten it up a little bit there, and he'll be all right.
Last time Baker's the one that started the 2-out rally with that hot shot between short and third. Fry keeps it in front of him on the inside pitch. Good waist pitch there. Kind of working him inside, set him up here.
This will be a great one. Like, again, we talk about pitch sequencing. Bust that one low and inside in the dirt. Now you bring that one up high and just on that outside corner out there. Get him to move his feet, get him to change his eye level. Hopefully we'll see what Lucas and Logan try to set up here.
Ball boy takes out some baseballs to the home plate ump. Who's our ball boy this afternoon?
Oh, that's Thane. That's old little Thane Huffman, Lil Huff out there. He's been the ball boy or bat boy now for.
Oh, there we go.
Nice pitch.
That has to feel good. You had not as much of a stressful inning as the first inning, but still, you didn't start off like you wanted to, and Schmidt did a good job ending there with the swing and a miss on the high heat.
Yeah, Lucas settled in right there. It was nice to see him. And again, we talked about, like you said, perfect. But that first pitch or that low and inside, bust that thing down for that ball. Then he brought it back high and into that strike zone. That third baseman, number 6 there, Baker, big kid. I'm sure he can hit some with some power. So that one's too sweet to not go after.
Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon of Indiana weather. We got some, again, high 70s, low 80s today. I think it's going to start to cool down, give us some rain tomorrow maybe. Eagles don't have a game tomorrow, so if it rains, they won't have to worry about making that one up.
We'll do our little mirror. There's a cold front moving through, Coach. Here, there's a cold front moving in here tonight. It's going to drop those temps down in the low 40s. It looks like the storms are going to start. You can see some of them growing over there to our east. So that's about what the forecasters were saying. About east of Fort Wayne is going to start getting some storms in tonight. So we had the perfect day of baseball here. Let everything get by and just keep it nice and cool. Or coolish. This is way too hot for me.
Your perfect weather is right in that 50s and
59, 61, yeah.
Studios students running and putting on today's show. Want to thank them for all their hard work there. As Schmidt puts one in no man's land, but it's caught there by the right fielder in right center.
Dropped in
Never
between
mind,
them.
that dropped in.
Yep, dropped
Okay.
in between them.
The center fielder kind of slid there, and
Mattia.
as freshman Logan Mattia steps in, he was able to throw some innings last time against Homestead. I think he threw, if I saw it right, on about 2-ish innings. And we got a courtesy runner, Gavin Trickle, one of the transfers this year. Mattia loads and Trickle takes off. He's going to be safe. Make that 48 stolen bases on the year. They had 46 going into today. Wilkinson and Trickle each get a stolen base.
Boy, you're putting a lot of pressure on us for our first game together to start keeping stats and know what the heck's going on with that for the season.
Well, that's
I don't know
only
if I can
because
handle
just
that.
remember looking at it and seeing 46. And maybe, takes one off the hip. Mattia will go to first base.
Now batting
That's-
number 19.
It's going to bring in
Logan Fry.
the man behind the dish, Logan Fry. And he's got a chance to bring in Trickle at second, if not load him up. But you can bet if he puts something, that gets through to the outfield, you can bet Coach Daly's going to be looking to be aggressive with Trickle.
Well, I wonder with the speed that you got the speed there on the bases. Do you put one down here, or do you at least put a fake attempt, give him a chance to maybe move up?
That's definitely something that Coach Daly's, I'm sure, definitely thinking about. Some situational baseball. Oh, there's a hot shot. Ooh, just foul. Just foul. The third baseman had a diving attempt down there. Coach Daly and Coach Warner, coaching staff here, they do a great job of keeping this field looking fresh and green. Not a weed in sight from this view up here. Kicks and deals. Fry thought about it. This count goes to 1-1 here. First baseman's in on the grass just a little bit. Fry's up in the box.
Yeah, he's right at the front side of that.
See Trickle's dancing there.
There
There's
we
that
go.
bunt.
There it is.
Fry's got it.
Oh, it's
Oh,
got it.
there we go.
No, he's safe.
Yep, he is safe.
He dropped the ball.
All right, there we go.
The field ump called him out. Did he change it?
Now batting number 13.
Must
Zach
have.
Berry.
And he's throwing his hands up there, letting the courtesy runner, Devin Whiteleather, come out. And the Eagles are back in business here. Nobody out.
Glad to see Coach Daly play the small ball there. That's a smart play right there to get those guys up. And again, you
gotta make 'em make the play.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
And
That's
they didn't. So
it's not something you see so much at the pro level, even at the high collegiate level, because those guys should be able to make those plays where you could possibly could have turned two there if you're an elite defending team.
yeah.
But yeah, they did a good job of making Bellmont make the play. First baseman still in here.
Well, it is a little, like you said, it is a little disappointing, at least for me. I'd like to see the colleges and the pros kind of go back to that. Right? They're smart baseball. That you got to play smart baseball, and smart baseball, no matter what level it is smart baseball. So I think Coach Daly did a nice job there, and here we are, no outs, bases loaded. You're setting yourself up for a big inning.
Zach Berry gets behind the count 1-2 here. Well, the Bellmont fans like that. The Columbia City fans, not so much.
He's been giving them that. I mean, that's
Yeah.
For the Eagles, number 14.
that's the pitch he's called all day. So again, that's the work you got to do while you're in the on deck circle, while you're over in the dugout. You know, and honestly, for Zach, that was a pitch you kind of really wanted. He could have took that, drove it to the right side.
Yeah.
You know, you score a run by driving it to the right side at least. So that's a tough one. That's you don't want to go down without getting a swing on the ball.
So here's something I've thought about with bases loaded. I've thought about this from time to time. You know, and again, you'll never know, right? But unfortunately, that strikeout's probably better potentially than popping something. Not popping something.
There we
I'm
go.
gonna shut up here. Wilkinson puts one to left field. Daly's gonna hold him at third, so one run's gonna come in. Wilkinson clutch 2-out RBI there, or 1-out RBI there. What I was saying was that strikeout's probably better than hitting something on the ground to a double play. Now you probably score the run on the double play.
Yeah.
But definitely would have been nice for Zach to at least put something in the outfield to tag, get a sack. But Wilkinson picks up his teammate. And here comes Trey Deckman. 1 out, base is still loaded here. First baseman not playing in anymore. Third baseman's a little bit right there on the grass. As Bellmont gets ahead here, 0-1. Eagles push one across here as the score goes to 3-2. Belmont's got one person warming up down there in the bullpen. Deckman works the count back to even at 1-1. Center field, they're shading just a little bit towards left center. So you got a gap there, bigger gap in right center with the wind. Looks like the left fielder's kind of shallow from up here a little bit.
Yeah, he is in a little.
Deckman's got some. Deckman can definitely put some. What's the word I'm looking
He
for?
may be playing that wind though too, right? That wind is coming.
That's
pretty.
true.
It's just kind of swirling a little bit. Kind of looks like maybe sometimes it's blowing out the right, sometimes it's blowing across. So if it's blowing in from left, it could hold that ball up. But
Deckman shoots one straight behind the dugout, straight behind the press box here. Counts at 2-2.
Trey's just got to find one to drive here, right? This is, in this situation now, 2 strikes. You just get one in the air that you can get this run, tie it up, and then we start fresh. Good.
Right.
Here we go again.
Deckman watches that one go by. Counts it full here. And so we need something put in play. You put something in play. Everybody on the base pass has some pretty decent, has some pretty good speed. So even if you put something on the ground here, it's going to have to be a quick turn to turn 2. Deckman loads, and he shoots one. That should sack to third. Right field's going to tag. He's running. Didn't quite get the running start as he caught it. As Deckman does his job, brings the runner in from third, and now that score is tied at 3-3. And the Eagles have extended their winning the inning here.
Miller.
As Neller's got a chance here to extend this lead, or not to extend the lead, but to gain the lead here. And it looks like we got a Bellmont bullpen pass ball coming down here.
We're still early in our season. Our scoreboard guy didn't put the 0 up for Bellmont in the second inning. I almost got confused there, but.
Ooh, pickoff move. Whew. Almost caught Wilkinson sleeping over there.
White Leather's got to be moving. White Leather's still standing on the bag on that one. That ball.
Yep.
That ball just about got away. Devin's got to be ready to move. He's got to be out there.
Right here. Wilkinson takes off.
they've got the timing down. Coach Daly does a good job of teaching that, right? Just making sure they do the timing, timing of the pitchers, gets those rhythms. Maybe they found a tell of what he's doing before he makes his move. But yeah, Wilkinson had he was halfway before the guy even looked at making the throw to the plate.
I do remember, I think it was when we went to Dallas. Pretty sure it was Dallas. There was one of the, it wasn't one of the main speakers at the ABCA convention. I think you were with us there.
Yep.
It was like that first day, kind of out in the open, but couldn't tell you what the university where he was from, but they used whatever their mascot was. In this case, it's 2 Eagles. He had an eagle chart, EAGLE, and then it went to EEAA or EA or something like that.
Yep.
And someone's charting, and when he comes set, they're going EA, oh, he went on G tally, and then that's kind of all right, like let's see if we can get the timing right. So whatever the method you're going to use works for you. But it's whatever you can do to gain an edge. And Coach Daly always trying to find a way, how can we gain a little bit of edge?
Oh, and here we go. This is what we talked about, right? Getting that first run, getting that one run in that first inning. While we didn't win the inning, we got one back, and now we won the second inning, and now it's tied. And so now we're right back where we want to be. Now you got a chance to restart and get fresh, and now Lucas can settle in and run us out here. So
Schmidt's first pitch of the inning is a swing and a miss. It's Cam Freet. I'm butchering it here. As Cam steps in the box, I think he got walked on 4 straight pitches in the first inning. His ball goes in the dirt there, works it back to 1-1. Schmidt looks in, misses outside. All right. Infield's playing straight up. Bradbury and Deckman playing a little towards the outfield cut.
both of them got such strong arms that get back there deeper. Give yourself a chance to cut everything off. So, this is a really talented. It's a really talented team all the way around. This infield's really talented. A lot of experience out there.
Yep. Eagles go around the horn on the swing and a miss. Frontwards K for the first out of the inning. As Keegan Lee steps in. Keegan Lee had the ground rule double in the first inning. That brought in 2 runs.
These fans aren't real happy with on either side with this umpire not calling that high strike. But again, to his credit, he's been consistent with the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got and that's all you can ask for as a coach and a player. It may be tight, but if it stays tight and stays consistent, I'd much rather have that than a wide one that is flopping all over the place the whole game. So
I always found it interesting. As the shot goes to Wilkinson, he gets the forehand, delivers to Bucher for the second out. I always found it interesting. This is, I can't remember the exact stats, but back when Doc Halladay, rest in peace, right, back when Roy Halladay used to pitch, there was a Roy Halladay.
Yeah.
Whenever the umpire was behind the plate, his numbers were just off the charts, and it was really known, like Roy Halladay, he worked quick, he didn't take time, and it was just one of those things that's just interesting,
Well, and again, you give that credit to Doc on that one too, in the sense of he knew that umpire strike zone. That's the studying that goes into that. Know where to pitch it, and you utilize, like you said earlier, every little advantage you can get. That's what baseball is all about. Just trying to steal those little advantages.
Yep. back end of the lineup coming up here in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, settled back in, came out, did a nice job. Quick, and that's a good one, too. You just quick inning, you put those guys. Bellmont was under a lot of pressure defensively last inning, and now if you can come back out here and put them back under pressure again, this could be that momentum swing that you get and that you want to make this a bigger push as we get going.
Gonna give a shout out here to the WJHS Studios crew, putting on a great production here. All the work that these, again, you know, you're watching on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in to the WJHS YouTube channel, watching the Eagles baseball, or if you're a Bellmont fan, appreciate you tuning in. You know, you see on YouTube, you see the game on here, you hear Coach Bell and I, but what you don't see is the large number of students that, you know, spend hours and hours putting this together, setting the cameras up, making sure that everything's, you know, running how it should run. When there's troubleshooting, they're getting the troubleshooting done so that you guys hopefully don't experience it at all or for very long. So big shout out to them and Mr. Glaza for continuing.
Well, we talk about Eagle pride all the time, right,
Yeah.
Jared? That's, you know, again, you see that these students, and they take so much pride in the work that they do, and to have, I mean, we're blessed to have this, and have had, I think, this is the 40th anniversary of WJHS, I think,
Yes.
this year, and so,
Yes.
you know, we've been blessed to have it for this long, and like you said, Mr. Glaza does a great job of continuing the long history of what we got, and these students just do a great job of taking pride, and it's a professional run all the way around.
You're exactly right. As Maddox Moon leads off with a hot shot, Coach Deckman able to avoid getting smoked down there in the coach's box. And Moon gets behind, fouls another one off. That's pretty much what he's done so far this afternoon, fouling off a ton of pitches, making the pitcher work. He's got that stance right in the inside as he lays off high and away. You know, Belmont's not the closest conference opponent, and just kind of when we came in here earlier, there's a decent number of fans that made their way to Columbia City. So it's great to see fan support for Bellmont this far away from their home turf.
Oh,
And Maddox takes one.
didn't even
one for the
move,
team.
just took that one.
That get him on the elbow.
I think so. Get that big old brace out there. Yeah.
With the old brace out there.
We'll see here, as we talked about earlier with Coach Daly, is what kind of pressure is he going to put on with the running game. Again, the Eagles are really blessed with speed up and down the lineup this year, and so, again, can be an advantage.
Moon's got the hand protector.
He's back by good. He needs to get another at least half a step off, because will get back easy on that one. So he's got 1 foot past the cut.
Ooh, off-speed pitch misses inside. As the Butler commit Grayson Bradbury. Grayson's going to be probably be on the bump for Thursday against Huntington North. Ooh, he puts a shot to left.
Oh, left
and
fielder.
the left fielder.
Go! Hustle!
And Moon's going to hold at third base there, even with the missed cutoff there. That left fielder, I don't know if he tripped or what it was, but that first step did not go the way he wanted that to
Yeah,
go.
it looked like his foot slipped out from underneath him, and he still almost got it. He got his glove to it.
Yeah.
That was a hard line drive shot by Bradbury. Coach is coming out to have a conversation. This looks like a new coach from.
So you're going to know the names better than I would.
Yeah, this is
Coach Daly has a word with Bradbury and Moon about strategy and what technique that he wants there on the base paths with nobody out. At minimum, the Eagles need to score these 2 runs here.
Yeah, well, and this is where Lucas is. Belmont's brought the right side of they brought their whole infield in. You know, Lucas needs to be looking for something here now on the outside, kind of like we talked about earlier. Something he can drive. He got a big hole like in right center field, like you said, and if he can drive something through the infield to the right side, we can get 2 runs in here. This is where he's got to look for that pitch in that spot to do that job, and so he should be looking for something on that outside corner in his wheelhouse that he knows he can drive that way.
Schmidt's ahead here with 1-0. 1-0's the count. Infield's in. Off-speed pitch catches a part of the strike zone. Counts at 1-1 here.
Approach shouldn't change at this point. Still 1-1. You're still in your favor.
Bellmont pitcher comes set. Yeah, that's gonna go. That's gonna drop.
There you
Beautiful
go.
ball. Beautiful. That's gonna score 1. And he kind of took that one off the inside handle just a little bit and just kind of flared out there into right center field.
Yeah, a little bit of an inside-out swing. Punched it out there into right center. Ah,
Schmidt
Coach
helps
coming
his
out.
own cause there with the RBI single.
Looks like they're gonna make a change here. Go to the bullpen.
So now we got runners at first and third here. We didn't get anything working with first and third in the first inning. We'll see if second time around, Coach Daly, now he's got time to talk about strategy and kind of see the timing. Coach Deckman makes his way over there as well. Again, looking ahead for the Eagles' schedule this week, they got
For the Braves, number 3.
day off tomorrow, one of the few days off that you have in the month of May. Thursday, they are at Huntington North, or excuse me, no, Thursday is home against Huntington North. And then they are going to have Saturday doubleheader with Northfield. They get Monday off. They have Friday off as well, so kind of 2 days off here in May, not something that happens that often. And then they'll pick up next week on Tuesday, away at DeKalb, Wednesday at Garrett, Thursday at New Haven, and then you get Heritage.
I think that Wednesday at Garrett game is our Parkview Field game, I believe, if I remember right.
That's right. Thank you. Yes, it is. So if you can, if you're an Eagles fan, you are able to make it out to Parkview Field at game time, according to...
I believe we play the second game, if I remember seeing it right.
Yep, 7
I
p.m.
think they play 7 p.m.
7 p.m. Hopefully we get some better weather than last year. No, we sat together there. It's kind of a chilly, rainy afternoon there. I think they have a first game in that one, don't they?
Boy, I don't know, Coach. That's been a long time.
I'm pretty sure it was the first game. So I remember leaving pretty quickly after school.
I can't remember what I did yesterday to get out, so that's a long time ago.
Got a nice crowd here this afternoon from both sides.
Looks like they brought LeMaster in to pitch.
Trying to see if at some point if we can get the score of the Lady Eagles and Lady Eagles softball game across the field as Trickle takes off.
Nice.
Ball bounces. He's safe. And across the diamond, Lady Eagles are down 8-3 at the moment.
They got a good bunt down.
Yep.
And just like we talked about, right, again, put that pressure on, make them make the play. The pitcher got rushed, got the ball, but threw it right quickly to try to get it over there. And now you get 2 runs out of it. So I like that call. I was always one for liking those squeeze plays. So
they are the opportunities are far few in between, so you got to capitalize when they happen. And Bellmont still has someone down there in the bullpen as Logan Fry watched the first one go outside. And the Eagles have put up 3 runs to match Bellmont's 3 runs from the first inning. And there's another off-speed pitch that misses the zone for counts at 2-0. Eagles are at the bottom of the order here. Nobody out. Bellmont's got to do something here to stop the bleeding, because this one can get out of hand pretty quickly here if you're not careful, as the top of the order is making its way here pretty shortly. And there's a high pop-up to the shortstop. And that'll be the first out of the inning.
Now batting number 13, Zach Berry.
And
like to see Fry maybe take that pitch. It's a little inside, a little high. 3-0 count. You wanna know where your hot spot is, and you wanna know right where that ball you can drive. And that was just a little bit outside. Missed that one just by a little bit.
Zach Berry takes the first one for a strike here. Coach Daly tells Matai out there at second that he's got 1 out. First baseman's in on the grass.
Well, that plays right in. Berry has always done a good job of shooting that ball down that right side. Again, this pitcher's pitched both of them out there. Zach just find that one to drive over there. He can run all day. He gets one down that right corner.
Right. Berry's down the count 0-2. So shortstop and the pickoff move. No tag is attempted. Matai gets the lead, takes a couple of dancing steps as Berry kind of throws his hands at a little small check swing there. Berry loads up, takes a high pitch to even the count at 2-2. Eagles have put up 3 runs this inning. An off-speed pitch misses high. Eagles currently lead 6-3 here. They've scored 1 run off a suicide squeeze.
The Bellmont shortstop caught Mattia giving Zach some signs out there from second, so they must have a tip on what's coming. So they brought them back together to maybe change up what their signs are.
That's a good eye there. It's one of those, I'm not obviously going to say now like what those signs were, but I remember being under Coach Daly on the JV squad. He kind of had that. Hey, you do this if you know what the signs are. You do this. If you don't know, you do this. And then if if it's an off speed or a fastball, you give this. Again, that's right. So those little things that you get, right? I mean, it's not playing dirty baseball because everybody has access to do that when you get to second base. Obviously, if you're doing a tap system, that's obviously a lot more challenging to try to read. But if you're doing, the 1, the 2, the 3, it's a little bit easier to try and read here. We're not banging trash cans or anything like that.
Well, it is getting harder now. I don't know. I haven't seen. It looks like the Bellmont catcher had the coach is calling in the catcher still has to give those signs. So it's crazy to see that transition down to high school ball already.
Yeah. Wilkinson's ahead here at 2-0. First baseman's in on the grass. Swing, big swing and a miss there from Wilkinson.
Well, that was a good cut. You know, again, we talked about that just a second ago with Fry. Wilkinson had a spot. The guy put it there. He just missed it on that one. But he knew right where he wanted it, and it was there.
Wilkinson shows bunt. Ooh, oh, it's going to come. I thought that might kick a rock and come back there.
That was a good idea. I like the idea.
Yeah. Catch him. Yeah, third baseman's playing back.
Yeah, he's way back behind the base. So
I always loved it in the pros when you'd have a big lefty up. You know, I'm the furthest thing from a Cubs fan, but you know, Rizzo or Schwarber, or back in the old day with the Cardinals, you know, Matt Adams. You know, you get a lefty up there, big lefty, and third baseman's playing the shortstop position, and you just, you know, pop that over there, and he puts one up the middle again. That's going to score Mattia as the center fielder fumbles it, and the runner's going to advance from first to third there as Wilkinson grabs the second RBI of the afternoon.
It's just another, again, great piece of hitting by Wilkinson. Cut his swing down. He didn't try to do anything. Hit 2 strikes, great 2-strike approach. All he did was reach out and just punch that thing right back through the middle, and that's what you got to do.
Yep.
So, you know, I mean, Carter's the leading hitter on the team so far, just about in every category as I was going through the stats. And again, that's a perfect example of why. He just didn't try to do too much. He just did what he needed to do and punched it through. Got us another run.
Yeah, he's batting over 400. And he takes off to second, and if the throw is a straight throw, he is out, but the throw bounces.
Yeah,
he's in there for his second stolen base of the game.
Bellmont put their play on right where they're going to cut that shortstop across and make the decision where they're going to let it go through. It just looked like the catcher wasn't sure who he was throwing it to. Instead of just throwing it hard to the shortstop all the way through to second, let them make the decision. Looked like he kind of let up. Wilkinson didn't look to be flying like he was. I wonder if he was kind of doing one of those slow trying to draw throws to see what he could get.
Right, get the runner to score from third. We got Trey Deckman here, counts at 1-1. First baseman still playing a little bit in, kind of right there on the cut of the grass. And Deckman puts one into right.
Oh, Carter, what do you?
Oh, and they're going to get as a base running blunder right there. And that right fielder's playing pretty in.
Yeah.
It looked like that was going to be a base hit all day, and that was just right at him.
If Carter.
Yeah.
Well,
that
I
should
don't know if Carter thought he read it down, or if he just lost track of what the outs were. So.
Yeah.
Andy's Car Wash.
And again, it's early in the season. Kind of just talking to some of the guys out on the team as we go through. I think they know they've had a lot of those kind of little mistakes, little errors, and they know they got to get them better, and they're working at getting them better as they go through. And that's what this whole early season is, right? You know, we used to talk all the time. You kind of split the season into 3 parts. And the first part, prior to conference season, you're looking at different lineups. You're looking at what guys can do. You're looking at different people who you can put together in different positioning. But you start working those fundamental things out too. You try different things that you can do so that you know when you get into tonight as to start the conference season, now you want to have your best team on the field. You want to have your best attack, and you want to know what you can do well. And so, and then just start cleaning it up. And then, again, you don't have to play clean baseball now, but by the time we get into, only 3 or 4 more weeks and we're in the state tournament, you want to be playing the clean baseball. So.
Braves, number 8, Aiden Furman.
All right, here we are on the top of the 4th. Eagles have put up made the Bellmont Braves put up 2 goose eggs there as leadoff shows bunt and pulls it back. pivots. And gets this throw to Booker as the Eagles get the first out and go around the horn here to start the top of the fourth.
Now batting number 19, George Gardner.
Infield's playing straight up. Schmidt kicks and deals, and he misses. Gets behind here. Count 1-0. Schmidt can do a good job at being efficient here as he throws the second pitch in the dirt. Can kind of keep the rest of the pitching staff off the mound as they have a doubleheader Saturday. Play Huntington on Thursday. Don't want to use a whole lot of reliever arms today.
Well, it's like you said too earlier, right? You look into next week. Next week starts into some of those brutal weeks that we've always had. You know, you play Tuesday, you play Wednesday, you have doubleheader Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I think they play again the following, maybe Saturday night, maybe at Huntington University. I don't know if that's that week or no, that's prom. Must not be that week.
See here. The Saturday night would be the 17th at Westview. Yeah, Huntington University. Yeah. Yeah,
Walked him.
Right. So the Braves got a runner at first here with one out.
Batting number 1, Mason Martinez.
Well, this is where as a pitching coach, right, you talk to Lucas, you go out, you know, you got a 4-run lead, 7-3 here in the fourth. Just throw strikes, mate. Don't want to give them those easy bases.
Let your defense do their job and back you up. Runner takes off, hit and run, goes straight up. It's going to drift into, whew. Deckman came all the way, or Wilkinson came all the way over into between first base and the pitcher's mound to make that catch. That hung up there just enough to let the runner get back to first base. As there's now 2 outs.
Now batting number 10, Will Baker.
He's very annoyed with me right now.
You've got great timing.
Will Baker's got a low crouch stance here. First one is a shot to left as Barry takes a couple steps back and holds it in. Sorry, that's not Barry's.
Mattia.
Mattia, yeah. Mattia.
I think Barry's in center tonight, isn't he?
There you go. That's about right.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, we're going to the bottom of the fourth. Give us a few of your favorite baseball movies.
Favorite baseball movies?
Give us some of your couple favorite baseball movies here.
That's a good one. You got to go with The Natural just because, you know, I'm a music guy, so
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot better soundtrack than what you have with The Natural.
With Robert Redford.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know, I've actually never seen that movie.
You haven't?
Nope. I know.
Oh my God.
I have an idea. I think I've heard enough to know what it's about and know that Robert Redford is the main character. But
Yeah. And then I think from a baseball history standpoint, you gotta look at 42, the story of Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
You know, that it's just that's sad to think about the fact that we've had to come through that, but
Right.
you know, just eye-opening. I'm not young by any means, but you know, I wasn't around to see that, and so to go back and watch that and watch what he had to endure and just to see the steps that his teammates had to do. I think was it Pee Wee Reese that played second base that
Yep.
you know was the guy that came over and told him next time we wear all 42 and nobody would be able to tell different. You know, just it just takes those people to make that decision, and you know what a lesson for life. So
Right. 6-3 ground out there for Henry Neller. You know, there's so many. You mentioned like 42. That one's just kind of just a. I think that one just has to be up. I mean, Chadwick Boseman also did a great job. And again, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. You know, I always enjoyed kind of from a history standpoint, 61 about Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle and the home run chase. You know, just some of those things like I never even knew anything about that. If it wasn't for that movie by who made that? Billy.
Do you know it's cloudy outside?
Man, I can't remember who made that.
I have not seen that one, so
You've
we're
never seen
no.
61?
Well, you've never seen The
I know, I've
Natural,
never
so
seen
we're
The
even.
Natural. We are even. You know, I think Moneyball is a great one.
Oh yeah,
It's a great one.
I just watched that not very long ago.
Moon shoots one right up the chute. It's a shortstop's going to come in.
He tried to drop it, didn't he?
Did kind of puts his hands up a little bit to go. Yeah, see, I caught that one. There's 2 quick outs there. Eagles got somebody warming up down there in the bullpen.
Bradbury.
But Moneyball, kind of just the famous line, like, how can you not be romantic about baseball? You know, I think it's just like a great kind of a history standpoint. You know, I'm trying to think of some other ones.
Oh,
here.
we have to. You can't not say Major League with the Wild Thing, for crying out loud.
You know, I've actually never seen.
Oh my gosh, we need to stop this conversation.
I've never seen Major League. With is that Charlie Sheen, right? With the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah.
I have seen some scenes where, the first baseman kind of just threw it out there.
Tom Berenger as the catcher.
Yeah.
I think it was
There's
Tom
like a
Berenger.
famous scene where the managers like, hey, just has them just throw it really hard but be wild for something.
Yeah.
That, right? There's some iconic scene I've seen that scene. You know.
Well, there used to be a guy back in the old days, major leagues. That's how he'd come out warm up and he'd just throw 100 mile an hour, but he had no idea where it was going to hit.
Yeah.
And those batters would get in their knees shaking, and he'd just throw 3 straight down the pipe and gas them. So
back before you had the shin guard, the elbow guard,
Yeah.
The batter didn't have all that protection.
Right.
Yeah. As Bradbury gets behind 1 and 2, and he watches one go outside. You know, I like the Kevin Costner where he pitches for the Tigers. Hold on, that's not the perfect game. Man, I haven't seen it in so long. You know what I'm talking about?
I do not.
Hold on.
For the love of the game?
For the love of the game. That's it. Yep. I did. I thought that one was I haven't watched these movies in forever, right? But growing up as a kid, Rookie of the Year, even though, again, the furthest thing from a Cubs fan, there's just so many lines that are, kind of stand the test of time as Matiah throws that, or Bradbury puts that one into the Braves bullpen area. You know, the Rowan Gardner, Rosenbagger, warm up, you're going in. I was having a conversation with some kids a couple years ago in class, and they're baseball kids. And so, you guys ever see Rookie of the Year? Huh? Rookie of the Year, you ever seen it? No. What? You're a Cubs fan too, aren't you? Yeah. That is kind of the ultimate Cubs fan movie is Rookie of the Year. Ooh, there's a shot to center. Center fielder takes a few steps back and tracks it in. And good contact there from Bradbury. Not going to show up in the box score. That's a nice hard contact.
It's the first
Eagles
zero that the Eagles have put up on this game. Not just maybe you just don't like this. You want to try to put one up each time, right? Just keep adding to that lead, keep putting that pressure on. A 4-run lead's nice, but a 5-run lead makes me feel a whole lot better.
I mean, the Braves have already put up 3 runs, right? So they put up 3 runs again. All right, now it's 7-6. So you can't get in this lull of all right. Let's go on cruise control. No, you can't go on cruise control. It just takes full batters.
Right.
To change it.
You got to keep that mindset. You got to keep that lock in. And again, those are the things. It's just as important. And again, you and I have talked about this a lot. building programs, you know, to make the big steps sometimes is easier than making that final step, which is just that learning how to win and learning how to win every kind of game, you know, and this is the situation. That's the situation where you do that.
Yeah.
You learn how to, you got to keep that focus for all 7 innings of the game. You got to stay dialed in. You got to stay focused at we're going to put up a run every inning. We're going to keep widening that score. We're going to keep doing that. And that's the piece. And then Coach Daly and the coaching staff will talk to the guys and work with that. But again, there's never every chance you're stepping on that field, you're doing something to get better.
Yeah. Is this? Yeah. I know you're definitely a humble person. So when I say this, you know, you're gonna push the credit. That's, you know, I totally respect that. But you know, this program's come a long way from the first year that, you know, you took over, and you know, with that staff of, you know, you, Coach McGehee, Coach Daly, Coach Campbell, myself, you know, it's come a long way of, you know, all right, a couple wins a year, and then the next year you had a couple more, and within those, you know, those first 3 to 4 years, his ball gets fouled back to the fence here. Those first 3 to 4 years, it was okay. How are we going to get over this hump? We're right there on those games where, you know, you're up by 1 or you're down by 1, and all it is, man, if we make this play, we win this game. And I think this program has finally gotten to that point of, okay, now we're on the other side of where teams are like, man, if we just make this play against them, we beat them. And now we're on the flip side, hey, because we made this play, we beat this team.
Right.
You know, again, you're still going to have those games where, oh, man, if we make, but it's going to be a lot fewer than what it has been. And it's just a testament to the job that, you know, you and Coach Daly have done to get this program to where it is. You know, and it's just great to see. And a lot of our Columbus City High School programs have really come a long way. And again, a lot of the programs are super, super competitive, all at the same time. It's just really, really nice to see.
Yeah, and again, I appreciate that, and you're right. It's not me. It's not. And Coach Daly said it's not him, right? We've got some really talented athletes. We got some talented guys on the field. You know, they've got the spark when they were younger, and I do think, you know, as we were able to program into place that they wanted to be a part of, and I think that's what you see through all the other programs, right? You put a product on the field. You put a product on the field that people can be proud of, and that the younger kids look up to, and they aspire to be that. And when they aspire to be that, then they work hard to get there. And I think that's what you see. You know, we talk all the time. When you go back to when we first started, we had 2 or 3 guys that were playing travel ball.
Yeah.
We're playing ball year round. And now I think you'd be hard pressed to look at that field. You know, those guys that are standing on that field right now. I'm maybe one of them that doesn't play.
Yep.
Travel ball. Ooh, that might.
There's a shot to left. Not that much. Looked more than.
Oh.
And Matthias kind of misses that one there.
Yeah, those are the. Got underneath it. Didn't look like he was tracking it real well, but looked like he got underneath it.
Yeah, it's a freshman out there.
Yeah.
You know. Obviously, it's not an excuse, but you know, it's one of those things he's gonna learn from. But yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, shoot, how many, you know, there's, you know, think about the number of commits that we have to play baseball post high school.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, Bradbury going to Butler, Schmidt's playing at Grace, Wilkinson's playing at Huntington. You know, I don't know if Neller's going to play anywhere. You know, and again,
Shively's Olivet.
Yep. And again, that's of the seniors, right? Like that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, that's 4. That's 50% of the seniors are going and playing somewhere, and those are pretty good numbers, right? Like it's a testament to them and their dedication to the game and wanting to get better and hopefully continue to be a part of this program, right? And to come back, you know, to the kids camp and, you know, kind of come back
season. You know, the expectation now is that the expectation is we're going to win. The expectation is we're going to, you know, we're a program that you have to beat. We're a team that you have to beat. Up and down. Again, as I was leaving school last night. You know, I park out here in the back, and the parking. There was a line. There was a line of people coming into the game last night against Homestead.
Yeah.
And that line was because they knew it was going to be a good game.
Yes.
They knew it was going to be a battle. They knew it was going to. Well, that's a testament to how hard the guys have worked and where the program has come. So. Coach Huffman out there talking to Lucas. Something with his shoe looked like he was having some problems. I don't know if it's a equipment thing or hopefully it's not hopefully it's not an injury piece or he looks to be fine out there. So must just have been stone in his sock.
Yes, stone in the sock there. We got 2 outs here. Top of the 5th. Eagles lead 7-3. Bellmont has a runner in scoring position. Yeah, this is exactly where they were in the first inning. They had runners at first and second with 2 outs, and then, you know, they get bases loaded, and so you got to be careful here.
Just balked.
Oh, and just what we talked about. Now you got both runners in scoring position. You put something gets through the infield here, you're going to have a possible play at the plate. But if you're Bellmont here, you need to capitalize. There's a swing and a miss. Good first pitch there from Schmitty.
Yeah, it's like you said, this is just, we can still get out of this, so.
Fouls that ball back. Yeah, we're talking about
But this
baseball.
is not the position that you want to put yourself, you know, you don't want to put yourself in, you know. You come out with that 0 and then give them that chance to tighten it back up.
Counts at 0-2 here. We'll see if Schmidt can put him away. Sets up outside, and there's a shot to center. Barry runs in on it, makes the catch above his head, and the threat is nullified.
Yeah, and again, just that's good. We talked about I'm always kind of a nervous Nelly out there anyway. Never really feel comfortable until we're done. But you get a 4-run lead. I always liked it when there was no way that one batter could come up and tie it or put them in the lead, right? So, you know, that's the mentality, and that's what, you know, Coach Daly needs, the coaching staff. They need to get back into those guys. Like, come on, we got to put 1 more up. We got to put 2 more up. We got to, 1, you start to do that, you start to break their will.
Yep.
2, you give yourself enough cushion, right? Again, we're still early in the season. We're ironing out mistakes here that are going to happen just because it's early in the season and people are playing in different positions, and so you want to give yourself as much of a cushion there to make those mistakes and still come out and survive them. So,
you know, not to get back on this, but, you know, baseball movies, one that just came back to my mind that I watched as a kid was Little Big League. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I couldn't believe, again, with the difference in age between you and I thought for sure you were going to say like Air Bud or Little Big League or something, you know, like those. So
Little Big League, man. But what's not, you know, for a kid, it's a kid's dream. The kid becomes the owner and the manager of a baseball team, right? And
I've never seen it, Coach.
You've never seen Little Big League? That's fair. Hey, I haven't seen Major League. I haven't seen The Natural.
I don't know what I did to it.
Looks like the softball game may be over there.
Yeah, that's what it appears to be.
Homestead's out in the outfield. Wonder if we can get a score of that softball game over there.
And we'll see if anybody in the press box here can help us out with getting the score here in a minute.
Eagles number 5, Lucas Schmidt.
And Lucas Schmidt steps in to try to help his own cause as he has an RBI from earlier in the afternoon. All right, Coach, so immaculate grid. Are you familiar with this? All right, so for the fans at home, if you're a baseball junkie, all right, on your phone or on your screen, tablet, computer, you go to immaculategrid.com. All right, it's going to be the first one should be a baseball one. This Schmidt watches one low and outside. So it gives you a grid of 3 columns and 3 rows. Okay.
Gave that one to him.
If we're looking at the columns, you have a baseball team in the first column. In this case, we have the Reds. We have the Braves in the second column. Schmidt fouls the third pitch into the parking lot. And then in the far right column, we have born outside the U.S., 50 states, and D.C. And then when we look at the rows, you have the A's. Second row is the Orioles. And the third and final row is a 30-plus save season for pitching. So what you have to do is you have to name a player that fits that box. So in the top left, it's a Cincinnati Reds player and an Oakland A's player. And then as you go over to the right, we have a player that played for the A's and the Braves, and then a player that played for the A's that was born outside the U.S. and D.C. and so forth. So it's kind of a trivia thing. You get 9 guesses. My favorite part of this trivia is as Schmidt has got the count to full here, and he watches the last pitch in for a backwards K.
That's the one that they called the second strike.
Yeah.
Logan Mattia.
Mattia steps up to the plate again. So my favorite part is not just naming a player, but trying to name a player that not many people are going to guess. Because when you guess it, this would have been something I would have loved to have had in high school. I've not followed baseball as much over the last 7 years.
Good curveball for a strike right there.
So my knowledge has kind of dwindled a little bit. Ooh. The Lady Eagles almost came back. They lost 8-7. That's a tough one. Mattia's got the count even at 1-1. He loads, chases an outside pitch for the second strike. Here comes the payoff pitch. Counts back at 2-2 for Mattia. It's like he's got, are those green batting gloves? Is that right?
No, looks like maroon batting gloves.
Maroon.
With a
Oh, here.
blue bat.
Portion of the screen, and I also don't know how to fix it.
Bellmont gets 2 strikeouts to start the bottom of the 5th here. We got Coach Daly's got his lineup out. We're going to see. We're going to have a pinch hitter,
Caleb Walter.
freshman Caleb Walter. Walter's is at least a 2-sport athlete. I know he plays basketball. I'm not sure about a fall sport.
Back to normal. I don't know. I didn't even touch it.
All right, Coach. So as we got the pinch hitter here, is there any of these grids here that you feel confident about naming a player that's played for both teams or the 30-plus save season or born outside the 50 states?
This is where you get me in trouble when everybody sees that I'm not a baseball guy. I try to tell
Oh,
everybody
you
that
are
for
too.
a long time,
You are
so.
too a baseball. It's tough. I mean, it's one thing to I can name a player that played for a team, but to name a player that played for 2 teams, it's challenging. So
Did Van Meter play for the A's and the Reds?
all right, he definitely played for the Reds. I don't know if he played for the A's. Do not take this the wrong way. I'm not going to waste my guess on that one. I'm not super confident in that one. Now, if it was the Diamondbacks, because that was one team he played for was the Diamondbacks, definitely. So, and if at home,
Need to phone a friend.
we're gonna put in. So there's a couple of names I remember. Like there's a couple guys that.
Caden Bonds, are you a baseball guy? You know any of these stats for me?
No, not those names, but Dave over here.
So we're gonna put in Edwin Jackson. pretty sure he played for the Orioles and the Braves. Yes. So here's my favorite.
It's 2-2, Coach.
Counts at 2-2. Deuces Wild is who?
I think
Walter.
that his jersey.
Well, yeah, Walter takes one.
That's one of those guys used to yell from the dugout to wear it. Right?
Yes, right. I'm sure he definitely wants to swing the bat here. So Edwin Jackson is one of those players I remember that played for over 50% of major league teams. So only 2% of the people guessed him. And not going to lie, that makes me a little bit I'm a little proud of myself for that one. And I mean, people know that one.
Top 2%. I like it.
There we go. And Walter gets a walk here, and we're back to the number 9 hitter, Zach Berry.
Now batting for the Eagles, number 13, Zach Berry.
Walter's definitely got some speed. So if we can get him to second and Berry can put something in the outfield, then Walter's probably going to have a good chance to score. Catcher kind of looks him back there.
Well, the advantage you got, Walter here will be running 2 outs, so any ball put into play, he'll be going. So
Puts a chopper. It's going to have to be.
he's got enough speed to get that one.
And he got him. Third baseman made a nice play. Took the big hop. And the Eagles are.
Well, we did at least get a guy on. We got him on by a walk, right? But
Yep.
this is.
It's 2 straight goose egg innings there for the Eagles.
And we've only sent 7 batters to the plate. So again, this is probably where you want to pull them up and just come on, guys. We gotta refocus here. We're not where we want to be. Just set those mini games inside of your game to try to just keep pushing yourself into getting better. So.
Schmidt's still on the mound there, on track for a complete game so far.
They don't do a very good job of keeping the riffraff out of this press box, do they?
They do not. They just allow anybody up in here. Schmidt's got 2 more pitches here as we go into the top of the 6th. All right, Coach. We got a couple more grids here. Player born outside the U.S. in the 50 states. I feel like this one's an easy one for you. The Braves and a 30-plus season save. This guy's in the Hall of Fame. He used to be he was a starting pitcher for a while, and then he went into a relief role.
No, Smoltz.
There you go. Yeah, this one's going to be a high. I'm sure.
Everybody will pick him.
Well, sometimes you'd be amazed, right? I'm sure most people probably did pick him. Oh, 23%. So that's not bad. 23% of the people picked John Schmaltz there. I bet you a lot of people
needs to settle in here and get us. We need to go 1, 2, 3 inning, low number of pitches.
I bet you the highest one for the A's is probably Craig Kimbrell. Would be my guess as who's the highest. Oh, that would. If the A's went down there, you're right. That would totally count. Good old Eck. Schmidt throws one. Eck was a lefty, just like Lucas Schmidt out here. I'm pretty sure, isn't that right? He was a lefty, wasn't he?
He used to have that big old straight out leg kick.
He
Cub.
He had a nice mustache too.
Starting Cub.
Yep.
To become a reliever later.
All right, counts at 2-2 here. And there's a
got to make this play.
Fly ball. Wilkinson puts his hand out to gauge the fence.
We need to get Lucas through this inning.
Yep.
He's got to keep his pitch count down because, again, like we talked, if we don't have to get into the bullpen, then we don't want to get in there. Save it for next week when we need it, or later this week. You'd love to be able to go to Huntington North with your whole pitching staff ready to go.
Right.
usually does. I don't know if that's, again, we saw the shoe issue earlier, but
Yeah.
he's not staying. That one was much better. He stayed up over his front leg a little bit more, but when he's getting a little wild there, he seems to be falling off to the right a little bit more.
Schmidt
Just not
misses
bringing
there.
that arm through with him.
2-1. Schmidt delivers again. And there's a swing and strike. Count goes to 2-2. Wind is still blowing out there to right field. And there's a hard shot to left. We'll see if Mattia can get it in. Gets it in pretty quickly there to Deckman at short. And the Braves have their first runner on for the top of the 6th.
Now batting number 1, Mason Martinez.
Got Mason Martinez up here. Earlier in the game, he's had a couple tough at-bats. And Schmidt picks off. Kind of lazy pick off there, nothing too serious. Inside and in the dirt. (7-3) Eagles. Runner at first. Fry tries to frame that back in there, but misses. 2-0. Gets a sign. Martinez gets a sign here.
Schmidt just looked over to the dugout and kind of flipped his arm. I don't know if he's getting a little tired or if he's...
There's nobody warming up down there either. He's kind of on his own here. Schmidt picks off. That runner's not really getting too big of a lead. He's kind of stationary even when Schmidt goes to the plate.
Yeah, he's not even to the cut. He's about one step short.
He's not being aggressive. Oh,
helped him out there.
And just going to get the out at first. Well, that's a somewhat of a productive at bat there for Martinez. He moves the runner.
Well, he got into Smitty's pitch count too. That's,
yeah, he did.
Again, at this point in time, you know, they hit him early and hit him well early, but they haven't gotten to him. So again, from the opposing team, Bellmont side right now, you know, you're just maybe you get into the bullpen, you get a different arm. Now you give yourself a different chance. So
yeah,
you know, that's got to be their approach at this point as well. And they may get there.
Shot's going to fall. They're going to send the runner. Oh, and Mattia misses it. That's going to be an E7. His second error of the game there. And Belmont's within 3.
Again, that's just those are the little things there that you just got to keep tightening up, keep getting better.
And you know, the runner's going to score regardless of how clean he gets that, but it's the runner getting to second that error allowed. And now you got a runner at scoring position, and Coach Daly's going to come out. So we'll see if we get a pitching change here. Yep, we are. As Coach Daly has Schmitty hand him the ball. And looks like Bucher's coming into the dugout. So we're gonna see if that's Bucher gonna go. If Bucher's gonna pitch and then Schmidt goes to first.
Yeah,
looks like
those
that's
two are
what's
just
gonna
going to
happen.
change, right?
Yeah. Yep, that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna have a switch
Now
there.
pitching for the Eagles, number 11, Colby Booker.
And Colby had a very small surgery last year to start the baseball season, so he missed all of last season with a small surgery. He's going to miss most of the season due to having a surgery on a meniscus or some sort. So, all right, as we get a break here. We'll come back to this immaculate grid. All right, Coach. Do you have anybody for what we got here? We got Cincinnati and the A's, Cincinnati and Baltimore, Oakland and Atlanta, Oakland and born out of the U.S.
Cepeda.
Ah, there you go.
Cepeda played for the A's and was out of the,
Cespedes? Is that who you're talking about?
I just know his last name. C-E-P, wasn't it? C-E-P-E-D-A.
Orlando Cepeda? Yep. You're talking about?
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
Now, oh, look at that. Woo!
How many people?
0.4%.
That's right.
That's
there
right.
We go.
There
that's
we
right.
go.
I'm done. I'm out.
You're out. Orlando Cepeda. That was nice.
That's the hands in the air. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Good night.
Nice work.
It's a mic drop on that one.
Sunshine going away here. We got some cloud cover. Looks like Booker's all warmed up here as Coach Daly steps back into the dugout. You know, we talked about the growth of the program too, right? We can remember, getting, 15 to 18 guys show up to off-season weights, talk to, then we get here to the new high school, and now we get into the 20s.
Yeah.
And then you get to the point where it's like, all right, like we don't have enough guys coming out to cut, so we kind of have to keep everybody, and the program has grown enough now where you have enough people coming out that, okay, we're going to have to cut people. Which again is just a testament to a whole variety of factors. People getting bought in, kids putting in the work, getting invested, wanting to be a part of the program.
Well, it just makes you raise the game, right? Like now you have to be.
There we go. Should get out of it. Bradbury. There we go.
There you go.
4-3.
Colby did a nice job. Come in, set well.
Gets about a 1-2 pitch out there. And the
umpire's
Eagles,
talking to him about licking his fingers while he's on the mound. He's got to step off the back.
Eagles walk away with allowing one run.
Well, now again, this is hopefully, the good thing about this for the Eagles is that, maybe this will refocus them here. Get them to refocus. Now you got to win an inning.
Yeah.
You kind of, from the second inning on, you've either won or we won the two, the second and third. Then we stayed flat the next two. And now you got to come back and put one up. So now maybe this will refocus, get you locked back in, and get that. And that's what Coach Daly wants to see. That's what the staff wants to see, and that's what we want to keep working with. So.
Right. You definitely, you don't. 3-run lead going to the top of the seventh is, in this situation, is not ideal, right? You want a couple more runs there, and you're I believe you're at a good spot in the lineup. You're at the top here with Carter Wilkinson leading things off.
Leading off for the Eagles, number 14, Carter Wilkinson. Let's go, Carter.
Looks like Coach Daly, we talked about it. I can't tell. My eyes aren't that good anymore, but looks like there's some stuff on the back of the helmets. I know we talked about that for years of, whether you get 3-hit games or RBIs or wins or. There you go.
There's a shot. Yeah.
Looks like Carter's helmet's got that on. Looks like Trey's helmet's got some on. So
yeah,
maybe Coach Daly's putting that those stickers into place, which I think is always good, right? It's just another way to show that pride, another way to that we can get in to keep working to get better. So.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's definitely those little things that people don't probably think about. Is that's a big deal, but it is, right. You do enough of those little things, and they become big things, and that's can be what can kind of makes your program yours. Because we did this, we do these things, kind of separates you from the competition, and gets guys bought in, and
It gives you a chance to build pride, right?
Yes.
Again, when you can build that. You think about as much as Michigan football or Ohio State football, but when you see those helmets that are just filled with all those stickers that you see the stickers more than the helmet because of that, that just builds pride for the guy that's got it, but it makes everybody else look around and say something.
That's going to drop into no man's land. Yep.
Yeah.
Got him. Yep. Ooh.
Carter's got to get there a little quicker. He's got to slide in on that
Yeah,
one.
he does.
He gave that umpire a chance to make that call.
Yep.
By going in standing up, you got to go in there, make that one a cloud of dust, and make it look. Coach Daly's going to do what he should do. Bit a little bit of an argument, but
it is one
Coach,
of those.
I think you're going to lose that one, Coach.
Yeah.
So
it heads up to the outfielder for being aware that all right, we got to get the guy at second now.
Yep. Yeah, he came up with it well and got the throw.
Wilkinson.
Again, I think that.
Batting number 7, Henry Neller.
There you go. Coach Daly's coaching Carter as he goes off. Wilkinson, you got to talk to him. He's talking to him about. Make sure you're able to get there, but you got to make sure you don't give that umpire a chance to make that call.
Right. Ooh, off-speed pitch there.
Yeah, those are the little things. Those are little things in a game like this where I don't say we're comfortably in charge, but we're sitting pretty good with the lead. We've been holding it for a while now. Those are things you got to lock in.
Ooh, good shot there from Neller. Deckman's going.
Daly's sending him. It's going to be a play at the plate.
Yeah, he
got him.
He got him. That's a good relay there from Bellmont.
Yeah.
They had good relay to the shortstop, the third baseman, and then a good throw to the plate.
Now batting number 2.
Yeah,
and it's not, and again, that's you're frustrated you get thrown out at the plate, and you're frustrated you don't get that. But I think that's a good send. I mean, Henry hit that shot down there into the corner. It took 2 perfect relays, right? The guy came up to third, and then he came up back in. It's got both throws have to be right on, and they were, and still made it a close play. So.
Ooh, and Moon that's the second hit by pitch.
Just go down there, settle down.
It is, right. It's always interesting. I feel like an old guy or an old school guy on certain things, like the different celebrations and the whatnot. Like, I don't know when this actually happened. I just saw the video recently. Did you see the video of I don't know if it's collegiate or high school. This kid slides into second, or he gets into second, and he does some dance, and the shortstop walks over and taps him, and he's out because he did some celebration. He stepped off the bag, right? It's like, look, man, like if you just, if that's fine, but I don't. Again, if I'm the coach, like, listen, you're done celebrating. You lost that privilege.
Well,
right. And all those little things like that. Again, call me old school, call me a boomer if you want. That's fine. I'll take it. And that's just kind of where I'm at,
Well, that's my thought. You got to have emotion, and you got to play with emotion. You got to, and that's always the fine line, right? You don't want is, and
Yeah.
so they want to recreate it too. But
Yeah.
at the same point in time, the most important celebration, in my opinion, the most important celebration happens at the end of the season,
Right.
hopefully down in Indianapolis, right?
Yeah.
But so you definitely just get those at the end of each game.
Right. I think the a walk-off hit, a walk-off home
Oh,
run.
yeah.
I think that's a little bit of a different, like, all right, the game is over. You know,
Yeah.
if there's a video, some kid hit a walk-off homer and he kind of stared at it for a little bit, and then the umpire kind of like stepped out and, like, it's like, look, just stay in your lane. Like,
Right.
again, I get it, right? But, like, if you've never done that, right, like, you don't know the emotion that you have in that moment. And
Right.
strike comes in there, and Bradbury's at a 2-2 count. We got deuces wild. 2-2
All the way
count.
across.
Okay, 2 outs and 2 runners. The only thing we're missing is second inning and the score being 2-2.
There we go.
One thing we're missing there. I off-speed pitch, and Bradbury puts one to center.
That
That's
might drop in the
probably shallow.
Right field came
Right
in.
fielder, yeah, brings that in. All right, so the Eagles go scoreless. They had a couple runners in scoring position. They got a chance here to put this one away for good. They got to get 3 outs here, and it cannot allow more than 2 runs to put this one in the books here in the top of the 7th. I don't mind. Again, I'm not as old school as this, but if it's 3-0. Man, if it's in your spot, swing. A couple years ago with the Fernando Tatis when he swung on 3-0, like, look, And again, everybody can have a different philosophy on it. It's like when people get upset at Cam Newton for celebrating a rushing touchdown. There is the side of, well, then don't let him score a rushing touchdown on you, and you can't celebrate. And I see both sides of it.
Right.
Just kind of that fine line
Now
of
pitching for the Eagles, number 14,
celebrating
Carter
any emotion.
Wilkinson.
The one that I didn't like was, don't quote me, it was a collegiate. I won't say what team it was, but some kid like slid into third base, and then he made some gesture with the foul line. I won't say what the gesture was because we want to keep this family friendly here, but you can probably, and it's just kind of like, okay, that's a little too far there, but.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like, I think, and again, we probably are sounding awful old school, and we'll hear all kinds of stuff about it. But
Yeah.
I think baseball's, people will talk about it a little different, but it's a team, right?
It is a team.
Anything that you're doing, any of the celebration stuff that you're doing, it's about bringing attention to yourself. And if you
Yeah,
bring attention
right.
to yourself, then that's just ultimately that's going to take away from what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I've always believed, and I believe that the way you should, right, pretend. I'm a football guy. Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Walter Payton. Man, those guys scored.
Yeah.
They turned around.
Yeah,
They
they
handed the football to the officials, and
Yeah.
they jogged back to the sideline. They looked like they'd been there. They'd done it before, right? You get these guys that go out, and again, just look like you've done it before. I think it's that next step of just progressing into a program that's the expectation is win, the expectation is championship.
Yep.
I think you got to do that.
No, you are exactly right.
The Eagles brought in Wilkinson to close this game out.
Yep. First pitch was a check swing ball, appeal down to first. And Wilkinson gets behind 2-0 here. So
Looking at the pitching stats, I don't know that Carter's he's got 2 wins on the season, but he hasn't got a save yet. Doesn't it look like he's had a save opportunity?
yeah.
So kind of a little bit different role for him.
Oh, and that ball eats up Deckman at short. And that's not what the Braves wanted, but you got a guy on base. That's what the Braves wanted here. You're going to have to be careful.
That was a hard shot at Trey.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell the bar was right in the line where the ball was. I don't know if it took a back. just settling in. He's got to just early in the season get these bugs out. He'll be all right. He's a really talented middle infielder. You just got to settle in here. And you make a double play here and makes up for that play.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. All right, Cam steps in for the Braves, number 4 hitter. And there's goes right into that gap there.
Yep. Bradbury's playing up the middle.
Yes, he is. All right, and tying runs at the plate. The go-ahead run is on deck. No outs here.
Number 7, Kagan.
And I think this is stuff we talked about earlier. Like, look, this is where you're gonna. These are the games here that I'll say you need to win, but these are the games, right? That 4 years ago, 5 years ago, you're like, okay, this. This happens multiple times throughout the season where, all right, we're up, and then we let the team come back and beat us. But that's not where this team is at. Like, this right here is a situation where, okay, like, you need to win this. You are expected to win this. Swing and a miss there. Wilkinson brings some heat. And you can see Schmidt's there playing in case they decide to try to bunt these runners over to second and third.
Well, this is the mental game of the.
Yep.
This is the mental game, right? That you have to keep teaching and keep working on. Everybody understands how to do the work on the field, but you gotta be able to do this work between the guys' ears. Because again, you gotta be able to take memories away, and the way you forget things that are bad memories is you learn from them, and you just make sure they don't happen again. And so, this is a good test for the Eagles. No outs, runners on first and second. As you said, tying run at the plate. So we talked about that a few innings ago. This is kind of what we were afraid of. We didn't want to see happen. Now, hopefully, we can fight our way out of it.
Wilkinson misses there with an off-speed pitch. All right, kicks and deals. Ooh, calls for a strike there. Lee had the ground rule double in the first inning, so he does have some pop here. Wilkinson looks back. Taking a long time here. Ooh. That's a tough pitch to hit. And he gets the first out there. That's a good one. Get the strikeout.
Now batting, number 4, Oliver Whirling.
So now we're kind of getting towards the middle of the middle back half of the lineup here. Oliver Whirling steps up.
I am kind of surprised. I'm not critiquing here, so I hope nobody hears it that way, but I am surprised they've got Bradbury covering the bag and leaving that huge hole on the right side. I mean, Carter Lee seems to be pitching with some pretty good velocity. The last guy wasn't able to get around on him, punched it through that side. I know you got to cover second, but even when Brad gets off, he's not getting back into that gap a whole lot. So
Wilkinson misses there with the off-speed stuff.
I think Schmidt's got to close that gap down a little bit more too. Unless you're counting on Wilkinson to cover that hole. But
Another off-speed misses high. He's going to ask for a new ball. All right, we did make some changes there. It looks like at third base, is
who was in left field?
okay, so that's
Mattia.
Mattia. And then who do we...
White Leather went out to left, I think.
Okay, so Booker came out. Ooh. All right, there's the 4-pitch walk there. All right. So we got to stay calm. Got to move on to the next batter. Carter's kind of got that open stance from the wind up here as he goes.
Yeah, bases loaded. He went back into the windup now, so probably feels more comfortable in that position.
You know, if you think about it, right, like the runner from third does not matter. Okay, you got one out. Take the short route. Misses. Counts at 1-1. Wilkinson delivers. Misses high for 2-1. Belmont's got one person down the bullpen, if necessary, here in the bottom of the seventh. And there's a shot. Foul. Man, if that's just a few inches or a foot to the right, that's definitely scoring two. As Wilkinson ties it up, gets it even at 2-2. Fly ball, you got to make sure you tag up. Stays alive. Fights that off to the Braves dugout. Infield's playing straight up except for Schmidt in the grass at first base. And a swing and a miss at the off speed.
That's a big strikeout right there.
Yes, it is.
Good pitch.
Now batting number 19, George Gardner.
Okay, so we got George Gardner up. And then on deck is Mason Martinez. You want to get this guy. Martinez has been a tough out today. Again, the run does not matter at third or really second for that matter.
Martinez got that. I've seen this stance on a couple guys here now. Must have problems with his front hip flying out. He really turns that front toes pointed almost.
There's a shot right up the chute. This is kind of a trouble. Deckman's gonna bring it in, and the Eagles close it out. They let some drama happen, and this one goes in the books. Eagles 7, Braves 4. The first conference win for the Eagles. Always nice to get that first conference win in the first conference game.
Right. Get that.
Start off 1-0.
Put yourself at the top of the conference and then make everybody chase you down from there, right?
That's right.
So that's always the goal. That's always what you're working towards, and the Eagles put themselves in a good spot. So. Well, Coach, this is a lot of fun. I know. Did you talk to Coach Daly before today? I know you said something about maybe getting him up here on the mic.
Yeah, I did. I did message him this morning and I said, hey, Bell and I are on the broadcast.
He didn't big time you. Did he respond?
Yeah, he did. He did respond to me. He's not too big time yet. We'll see. We'll see as he gets older here. But yeah, hopefully he should be able to kind of come up here in a few minutes, and we'll let you and him have a chat.
Oh no, you're the head guy here. You talk to him. I'll just stand back and listen to the greatness spew out.
Listen to the greatness.
See you, Dave. Well, again, Coach, I think that was a good. It's always nice to come out of that first game, first conference game, get the win. It's always good. You want to get the W, but after you get the W, the next thing is 7-4. You won by 3. You left runners on base. We had a couple errors. We cleaned some things up. I think we had, that's just off the top of my head, I think we had 3 errors on the game. Yeah, no, I'm not good enough in this. I haven't been in this position long enough to be able to know I got to keep my book and do all that stuff.
Right.
But again, things to work on. Right? Talk about the mental game there in the middle. Came out, really rallied back. Was good. Some good learning points too. Down 3-0. Didn't put your head down. You just came back, got one that next half inning, then came back and got 2, and then tied it, and then just kept pushing it up. So a lot of good to take from it, and a lot of learning, and that's what you want this early in the season. You know, you're dominating and you're playing perfect ball at this point in time. At least I know from a coaching standpoint, you just kind of get nervous, right? Because you just can only kind of go down from there. So at this point in time, I think you got a lot to build on and a lot of stuff that, you know, hey, we still got things to work on. So you can keep the guys focused, keep guys locked in.
Yeah, they did a good job coming from behind. I think it's good for them, right? Like you need that adversity throughout the season.
Well, Belmont's always a tough. I mean, that's a tough game. I didn't look at their schedule. It's kind of hard to pull some of that stuff up anymore. These guys don't always put everything on early on. But I know when we played Bellmont, you know, back when I was in the role, you know, we'd go in and they only played three or 4 games maybe at this point in time. You know, we're sitting at, I think we've played 12 coming into today, and I think they used to play 4 at this point in time. And so just you never knew quite what you were going to see. You never really had a lot of stuff to work off of. And so I don't know if that's similar today at this point in time, but
Yeah,
I think it's good. So
they're 3-5.
okay.
Coach Daly said they beat Whitco by 10, which we only beat them by 1.
Whitco?
Yeah.
Did we play Whitco already?
Yeah.
No, the varsity
maybe that was
doesn't.
softball. Where I thought I saw it was like a 10.
I think we don't play Whitco till later in the season
that's
usually.
What I thought.
So.
And then
Yeah, I was probably, it might have been softball.
maybe, what was I seeing? I'm trying to find this here.
Coach Ambrose, you got fans down there waving
I
to
think
you.
they're waving at you. Nobody knows me around here, man. Oh, it was West Noble. That's what I was thinking of. West Noble.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
The second game of West Noble was 9-8. I don't know why I was thinking Whitco.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I said they beat Whitco by 10, but they lost to Homestead and Warsaw. But they put up a good fight. You know, Eagles did a good job. Again, I think that's one of those wins. Like, okay, like it's a good win. You stayed with it. They could have gone either way. They really could have.
Yeah.
You know, pitch here, pitch there. Bellmont, you know, takes that one away. Who knows? But
Yeah.
you stayed with it.
Well, again, and now you got it. You know, the nice thing, again, as we talked about the schedule earlier, like I said, I always like not having to play that Monday coming into the night because you got your stand. But after you play tonight, the good thing is you have tomorrow. Now, I know that, you know, this field's in use all the time, so I don't know how much time they'll get on. But, you know, I would hope and I would think that Coach Daly and the staff, you know, they're going to look at those things that that we got to shore up a little bit, probably get a little more action of some fly ball reads for some of those guys, and just shoring things up, and maybe do a little competition. You get some competition stuff in there tomorrow, and you know, put the guys under some pressure because you turn back around, and Huntington North's a really solid program, and they're a really solid team. We went and watched Preston Hinchin, one of our former players. Preston's a senior up at Trine, and Trine played Manchester down at Parkview Field last week, and so we went to see them, went to see him play, and that was a lot of fun. It made me think it was the first time, not to get off track, but it's the first time I've had a chance to go watch one of our really get a chance to see him finish up. And Zach moved into the law enforcement after his junior year. And so, Preston's been up there at Trine for his all four, so it was nice to go see him. But kind of back where I was going, sorry. Got a little ADHD on that one.
No, you're right. No, you're right. No, that's.
But I think what I was trying to say is Huntington North played Mississinawa in the game before, and as I was walking into the game, we didn't get a chance to see the game actually on the field. But Huntington's got some big boys. As those guys were walking past us, they had some good size. So and they're a solid program. Their new coach was with their old coach that was there before, had coached with him and kind of did a really good job and has moved up, and so I think he's going to take it. So that'll be a tough game. It's always a tough game. Nice to have him here at home.
Right.
But you hate to sound greedy, but this is your next focus. You want to go 1-0 to start at the top. After today's first round of conference games, half of you are 1-0, and your goal now is you got to go 2-0. So hopefully you get to 2-0, and now you whittle that group, and you just give yourself enough of a cushion. I think, the Eagles found themselves in that position last year. They set themselves up, but I think they got nipped by maybe East Noble. And then, ended up beating Norwell, but ended up finishing second then in the conference to somebody else. And so Leo, I know, is a really good team. I've been watching some of the scores, and they've been rolling up pretty good. And so they're always a tough battle anyway. And so.
Well, that's the last conference game. Well, no, they have Norwell.
Norwell will be.
But that's the last home conference game.
Yep.
I think you and I we should be able to be on the air for that one. So.
Well, if they don't throw us off, maybe not. We might not get very good ratings. We'll see how we. Yeah.
We'll see, right?
Mr. Glaza back will have to. Mr. Glaza and the students have to critique us and tell us if we're allowed to come back or
they
not.
Do.
So.
But yeah, they got 1-0. You got Huntington North, and then. They're looking at the following week with DeKalb, New Haven, and then East Noble, Leo, and then you wrap it up with Norwell.
Well, and I think, again, looking at scores, East Noble is, from what I've been seeing, East Noble's been knocking some people down too. So, the NE8 is always a really tough conference year in and year out. And when we first came into the program, people talked about how the NE8 was one of the best conferences in the Northeast Indiana, and I tend to agree. I mean, talent-wise, from top to bottom,
it's very balanced.
Yeah, and so just on any given night, anybody can knock anybody off, and so. But that's the next step, right? I know that's Coach Daly. I haven't talked to him about the goals and stuff this year. I know they went on their retreat, and I'm sure they set their goals at that point. And I'm confident that the conference championship, it's always one of those goals you set. But, that's that next step as we talk about, as we keep moving the program forward. That's what these guys got to do. And they're in position, and I think they know. I think everybody else knows, but most importantly, they know that they should get it, or they should compete for it. And so, but that's that knowing that you should,
right,
and then going and do it. That's that little fine line that they've got to learn. So each game, each practice, and that's what the coaches are talking to them about right now. You can obviously watching body language and hand gestures, but kind of could see that that's what the conversation is. It just got to keep putting on it. You got to keep stepping on them when you got a chance, and then you got to finish them off. So
you got to be cutthroat.
Yeah.
This game probably, again, for them, I'm sure Coach Davies thinking, look, this game shouldn't have been 7-4. This game should have been, 7-1, based on some of the unearned runs that we allowed, and some of the situational stuff that again could have gone either way. But they got to run it back for Thursday, and they more than likely you're going to have your one of your top arms on the mound for Thursday. back and bring it to North and make a statement. You know, you go out there and you punch them in the teeth and you win by a good margin. You're sending a message to the rest. Oh man, like, okay, Columbus City's they are again for real. It's not a 1-year wonder or a 2-year wonder. It's
Right.
All right, man. They're here to stay. So
Well, and I think too, let's not downplay what we talked about at the very beginning of the game before it ever got started. At the very beginning of the game, we discussed the fact that we can't have the Homestead hangover, but there is. You got over the hump. You beat Homestead last night, a big emotional win, an exciting win. You know, as we came up, Coach Leiner over there is talking about how we've scored 60 runs and what did he say, 60 runs in
like 10 games, or
6 games or something
games,
like that. But so you're hearing all that stuff, and then to come out and Schmitty is. Again, I know Lucas, and I know his goals. I know his goals from the time he was a freshman. You know, he wants to be all conference. He's worked to be all conference. He knows that this is a chance to be able to step into that role and to do that. And so again, to work through that pressure he put on himself.
Yeah.
But to get past that Homestead hangover now and to get this win is important. So
Yeah.
but.
I think
Coach
the
Daly stepped in. The
big
biggest
dog's
of the
in here. We
big
got
shots
Coach-
is
we got
here.
Coach Daly here.
Thanks, Coach.
Head coach, one head coach hand over the head
That's right.
the other head coach here.
Right on.
All right, Coach Daly. Well, hey,
All right.
Congratulations on
Thank
going
you.
1-0 in conference so far.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, talk to us about kind of, you guys kind of met longer than Bellmont did. Talk to us about, that meeting you guys had out there. What are you guys giving your players this week as you guys kind of move on to Huntington North on Thursday?
Sure. Yeah. As I walked up here, I heard Coach Bell talk about the Homestead hangover, and that's been definitely floating in my mind. Obviously, after the game last night, trying to make sure the team's refocused, ready to go. You beat the number 3 team in 4A. That's a huge win for our program. At the same time, the message was, hey, we have 2 really, really important games this week coming up that are pivotal in our conference. Obviously, to start out 1-0, 2-0 in conference is huge to have a shot at the end. So that was kind of the message after the game last night, and then refocusing today. And then out there was just trying to clean up some things that we can control. We can control and fix some of those base running mistakes that we made during the ball game. I can live with, solo shots versus Homestead or some physical errors. We're going to boot a ball. We might drop a ball here or there. Ideally, we don't. But what you struggle with is obviously the mental mistakes that we got to clean up out there, the stuff you can control on the base pass. So that was the message out there. Was good to be 1-0 in conference, good to get the win. But if we want to get to where we want to go, we've got to clean up some of the little things in the base running stuff and knowing the signs and bunting and all that. So yeah, that was the message.
Yeah. So you guys had some really good situational stuff, right? You had Grayson at third with the suicide squeeze.
Mm-hmm.
He was almost to the plate by the time the pitch got there. Was that was that a your call, or was that Grayson kind of going, hey coach, I got this guy timed up, man, I want to take this?
Yeah. So. That was obviously a huge pivotal point in the game there, a huge play by Mattia to get that down. The freshman, obviously, he's come through a lot of times in this halfway through the year already. But kind of what it came down to was we practice the double squeeze all the time. We practice it, in our offensive baseball sequence, and we squeeze every day in BP. And we haven't really put it on much this year. It's kind of got to be the right situation. Mm-hmm. We noticed that they were going to go infield in second and third. That allows the guy on second to get a huge lead. So we thought about running it there. My thinking was I wanted to get the lead before running a squeeze play. So Schmidt clutches up there and gets us a hit and goes first and third. And then the game plan, was our coaches got together, all 3 of us, and then we told them what we were going to roll with was we were going to steal trickle on the first pitch. Guy slide steps, we get away with it, kind of a bobble at second, and then we were going to put it on the next pitch where Mattia's got to get it down. They did go infield back there, but we still felt comfortable or he was going to get it bunted and get it down. So yeah, that was great execution on that play.
You guys went down. 3-0 early. What was kind of your message coming out of that top half of the first?
Yeah.
You guys are getting ready to bat.
Yeah, honestly, I don't have to say much to this team. I mean, just they're definitely a special crew. They don't flinch. We went down 5-2 against Homestead the other night, and they just have a lot of belief, and they play together as a team. And honestly, it's a really easy team to manage. I don't have to say much. I just felt like they and our coaching staff we just knew we were going to go out and come back and win the game. We have our guy on the mound, Schmitty. He couldn't really find his best stuff at the start. We found out the changeup was working, so Coach Huff starts calling that. And just our mentality this year. We've won some close games. We had to two comebacks versus West Noble to win, comeback versus Homestead, comeback win tonight. Coach Huffman said it the other day that this team's not dead until the final out, and I completely agree with that. So yeah, the leadership on this team's great, and they know how to keep the pulse down and not get to go in the dugout and start screaming and throwing stuff, and we got to do this and that. They just stick with their plan and get the job done, and we've been fortunate to end up on the right side of the scoreboard in the last 4 games.
Awesome. Well, that's good. Hey, again, it's exciting to see you guys, start off 1-0 and can continue a good week, and hopefully you guys go into Thursday and keep that undefeated conference record going.
Definitely.
I think Coach Bell and I will be back on the mic against Leo in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
So,
big conference game. Let's do it. Yeah.
Hopefully.
I appreciate you guys doing it. I can't wait to listen.
Yeah, it's exciting to see you guys be out here and again see right to where I'm at, to see the program from where it used to be to where it is now, and again, huge testament to you and Coach Bell and all the work that you guys
appreciate that, definitely.
So
absolutely.
Right. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
Appreciate it, fellas. Thanks for doing this. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, here's just gonna get some closing thoughts here. Coach Bell, thanks for joining me tonight.
Well, Coach, I want to make sure I point this. Like, I hope that when people sit and listen to Coach Daly's talk, he's such a student of the game, and boy, as you're listening there, as you're talking to him about his strategy and this stuff, I mean, he lives and again the perfect choice to lead this program, but he lives this game, he breathes this game, he loves this game, he knows the strategy, he's got the thought process behind it, and just the way he can talk through it and gets excited when he does it. I hope people hear that as they go and they see again, that's just what makes him the perfect spot or the perfect person to be in this spot and to lead this program hopefully for a long time.
Yeah, again, it really does. Everything you said there is true, and hopefully again, more hopefully great things continue to go for this program and for these boys and all the hard work that they put into it. So, well, hey, thanks for joining me tonight. Look forward to
thanks for inviting me up.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to a couple weeks from now on Thursday versus Leo, and hopefully we can have the same outcome. And again, make sure you tune in for Thursday, Huntington North, WJHS Studios. Thanks again to all the students for putting this on and putting up with Coach Bell and I and some of our rants that we get into. And again, all the great work that you guys do does not go unnoticed. So if you haven't hit subscribe, make sure you hit subscribe. Thank you, and have a nice evening.
Thank you, everybody.
Mr. Ambrose, you won't remember me, and that's okay. We'll be